Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Parenting and Bonding with Children's Books podcast. This is episode 8 of the podcast. And as I've been saying since episode 1, I'm so excited to be here. Those of you in the group, you watch it live, and then we send it over to YouTube and your favorite place to podcast, because our goal is to reach as many parents as possible with this message. So our message is what? It's simple. Books are magical. They transform homes, and they can help strengthen the bonds with our kiddos. Here on this podcast, we're joined by the authors that make the magic happen behind the books. Today, we're joined by the author of You Be Mommy, Karla Clark. Hi, Karla.
Okay. Hi, how are you, Quinn?
I'm doing well. I have the title on the screen. I have the book over here and everything, and I still said You Be Mama.
That's okay.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and talk to your group.
Excited to have you. Yeah. So let me just tell you all just a little bit about Karla. So she's an author and artist. I'm hearing some sound.
Is that my clock? Did you hear like a chiming?
Yes. Is that your clock? Okay.
It's my desk clock. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't hear it anymore.
So Karla is an author and artist. Her passion for writing comes from her father, who was a consummate storyteller. She's the author of 3 novels, a book, short stories, and we're here tonight to talk about one of her 2 children's books. Karla, if I didn't cover too much, tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks, Quinn.
You're welcome.
So I was telling Quinn, you guys are a nice, sunny Dallas. What's the temperature there right now?
Oh, it must be about 65.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Going to tell me.
I was telling Quinn, I'm in Rockford, Illinois, which is near Chicago. And it's below 0, and we've got about 10 inches of snow on the ground. Yeah. And I'm born and raised here, and I still, just trudge through the winters. But that's okay. Nice time to cuddle up with books, right?
Exactly.
So a little bit about me. I was born and raised here, so I'm a Midwest gal, and come from a big Italian-American family. And I always wanted to be an artist and a writer. So when I was a little girl, first I wanted to be an artist. I would draw intricate little pictures. And that's my dog. Hey. And so I always loved art. And then when I was introduced to books, mostly by my father, then I loved books too. So I'm so blessed to be able to do both of the things that I love, write books and also do some art. There's a little bit of art, my art in the background. It's helped me when I have writer's block, just to kind of put things down and do the artwork instead. So that's always been kind of a nice diversion when you're getting a little writer's block. So I kind of go back and forth between the art and the writing. But I wrote my first novel. I should have gotten it. Let me see if I have it. Oh, I do.
Yay.
In my desk drawer. So this is my first novel.
Oh, wow.
I wrote this when I was like 14, 15 years old. I'm a big doodler too, as you can see. It's all different colored paper, different color ink. It's terrible, absolutely terrible.
It's beautiful that you still have it.
Yeah, I'm glad I saved it. But I was so naive at 14. I thought twins, my main character were twins, a set of boy-girl twins, and I thought they could be identical. And of course, for boy-girl twins, you can't be identical. So, really bad. But it got me learning how to put pen to paper, and it got me learning how to do dialogue and to actually, tell a story. So that was a good start. And then I was a journalism major at Northern Illinois University.
Okay.
So that helped me along. And then another thing that really helped me is after I graduated and got married, I wanted to spend some of our wedding money on some new furniture. And my husband is like, well, if you want to be an author, then you need to buy an IBM computer. It was back in 1983 or something. And they were $5,000 back then, those computers.
Oh, wow.
Big whole thing, you know. And so he was right. If I wanted to be a writer, I really needed a computer. So we did that. And it was probably one of the best things that we did. Because I can't imagine how people wrote on typewriters. Oh my gosh, I can't.
Some people really love it.
I love the sound of it. I love to play with it. I have a collection of about 5 or 6 antique typewriters. But so got the computer, and then had some stops and starts with different ideas, and finally just thought, I need to write what I know about. Usually that's what writing teachers say, write what you know about.
Yeah.
So I went to my ethnic background. I'm from a big Italian-American family. So my first book was called Between Horses. Yeah. And this is about a big Italian-American family. One of the characters writes a cookbook, so there's recipes inside too.
Oh.
But I couldn't find an agent. And so this was back in about 2000 or so, the year 2000. And self-publishing was really becoming popular, print-on-demand publishing. Okay. So I did go ahead and publish this self-published first novel. And I was very happy with it. You have to do a lot of the marketing yourself anyway, even when you have a traditional publisher. Okay. So I did that, and I had a real great time going to women's book clubs. They would cook recipes from the book at their book club, so that was really fun. And then I wrote a little book of short stories called Knotted Pearls and Other Short Stories.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, these are there's about 13 little stories. It's kind of nice if you're like me and you fall asleep reading. Sometimes it's nice just to have read one story and then go to bed. Then the next book, I self-published this one too. This one's called Annie's Heaven. Okay. This one's real spiritual. I had some family members die, and I was thinking a lot about heaven, what heaven could be like. And so I had a story where the main character, Annie, she dies, and it's a little mystery as to how she dies. And then she narrates her chapters from heaven. And then you figure out the mystery there and see what's happening with the family. Okay. And then one of my sons has autism, and he's almost 29 now. And so I just often wonder what he'll be like when he's like 45 or something. Okay. So I explored that and wrote a novel called Everybody and Their Brother. And so my son is an inspiration for this. And I'll go ahead and really promote this in April, which is Autism Month. So this I published about 2017, I think. So those are all my books for adults, but I always really wanted to be a children's author. Okay. And it's almost harder in a way to write children's books than it is to write novels, because you can use so many words to get your point across. But as you know, a children's book has to be so precise and so tight and just so perfect. It's a lot harder. So I got together with my cousin, who's an illustrator, and we did a couple of little books. I'm sorry, I'm so...
That's
we did a couple of little paperbacks. Now I Lay Me Down to Dream and Once Upon a Camping Dream. Real simple with just little whimsical illustrations. And these were cute. We did them on Create Space that Amazon did. Okay. So very inexpensively. We weren't really happy with the quality. So we just kind of did a short printing run. They're not available anymore, but at least it got me into the realm of back into the children's book. Well, then I lucked out. After 20-something years of writing, I wrote another children's story. It was called You Be the Mommy originally. Okay. And I sent it out to literary agents. So a lot of people wonder, how do you get a literary agent? And it is very, very, very difficult. For each of my adult books, I tried very hard. So you have to write what's called a query letter. You're asking the question, querying a literary agent. Would you represent me in my book? And so you can go online and you can find a list of literary agents, and then you can find which genre of books that they represent. So of course, if I'm going to look for a children's book, I'm going to try to look for an agent for a children's book. I'm going to find an agent that represents picture books and, not one that represents romance novels, something like that.
Yeah.
So I send out 100 letters, and I started to get my rejections because you expect them. Now they're in email form. Back in the day, they called them rejection slips because it was like a little slip of paper that was paper clipped to your manuscript. Sorry, not interested, But now it's all email. But I got my share of rejections, and lo and behold, I got a young gentleman that was interested. And he is, his name is Connor Eck. He's with Lucinda Literary in New York. And he's young, and he was just a couple years into it, so he was building up his client list. And so he took me on. So that was really a dream come true. Because even though my novels and my other books did well, there's nothing like validation of getting an agent and a traditional publisher,
Yes.
So that happened in 2018, I think now. And then that's when You Be Mommy was born. There you go. And a lot of people ask about the Illustrator. So there's really two ways to publish a book now: traditional publishing or self-publishing. If you self-publish, then you have total control and you can be your own illustrator. So for example, I use my cousin. But when you sign a contract with a big publisher like Penguin, Macmillan, Simon & Schuster, Random House, it's a whole different story. So you sign a contract that you will deliver a manuscript, and then they choose the illustrator because they have relationships with so many other art agents and illustrators. Mm-hmm. So when you go that route, you don't have any control of the illustrator. Now, I was very lucky. The editors that I've worked with have asked for my opinion. What do you think of this one versus this one? So they gave me a little bit of leeway. So we knew that we wanted a book with lush illustrations, and we knew we wanted a family of color. Mm-hmm. And I'm so proud of that because I have seen, as long as I've been looking at children's book, the deficit in that area. And I've heard from so many moms that say, thank you for having a book where the character looks like my little girl. And I also love that my illustrator made the mommy a cute little chubby girl. I mean, so many moms are always skinny, and no, she's a cute little chubby mom. And the other thing is it's kind of open whether she's a single mom or the dad's just not home. We don't really address that. But, it's nice to, to have that. I'm really proud of that. And You Be Daddy, which comes out April 27th, will feature, I don't have the book yet, but it will feature Asian American family. Okay. So that's really neat too. And so I'm really happy about that. And then the other good news is my publisher has just bought You Be Grandma and You Be Grandpa.
Oh,
so
wow.
those are coming out. It'll be a little bit though. It'll be like 2022.
Okay.
And 2023 probably for those books. So, but those will be coming out. So that's nice too. So let's see. How did I get the idea?
Yes.
That's the question, right? So I was a working mother when my kids were little, full time, exhausted, like all of you guys are. But books were the most important thing. And so my husband and I, when we just had one, we would alternate putting Jordan to bed. And then when we had two, it was one-on-one, But I always let my kids read, I know it sounds 3 or 4 books. We were up there a long time. But it was just it's just the best. And I always would let them choose 2 or 3.
Okay.
And then I would always choose the last one because I always wanted to end the night with a quiet book. And so if they chose, Where the Wild Things Are, and I would end up with Goodnight Moon.
Okay.
Just to rile them up and then quiet them down, right? So the other thing my kid, we always sang songs too. So it was books and prayers and songs. It was, a whole hour event and you're exhausted. Well, I remember one night, he just wasn't falling asleep, my older son, and I was. And I was starting to get that drowsy. And he was asking me for another book or another song. I said, listen, you be the parent. I'm too tired. You be the dad. You put me to sleep now. So that's kind of how we got the idea. And then they would like to play that. So then they would pat your head and pretend they were the dad. So that's where the story came from. And it turned out very sweet.
Very sweet. The story is very endearing. The illustrations are beautiful, lush, like you said.
Yeah.
The words flow so well. The book is written in rhyme, you guys. If you haven't read this book yet.
Oh, and the nice thing is, You Be Mommy comes out in a board book version.
Oh.
Yeah, it's done so well that the publisher has chosen to also put it out in a board book. And so then the board book is less expensive. It's durable. I never realized a board book has to be specially made with non-toxic paper, non-toxic ink. Mm-hmm. So when those little babies chew on it, there's no problem. So that'll come out March 30th, and it will only be $7.99 on Amazon. And then they usually even discount the price more. So that's kind of nice because the hardcovers are, I think, $14.15 right now.
Okay.
So that gives people an option to get the board book. So yeah.
And your publisher is Macmillan, correct?
Yes. So big publishers have different imprints. So, and that's just a division. So the division that published my book is called Pywell and Friends. And they published Jimmy Fallon's book, that little mama book. You Be Mama. I can't remember now, but yeah. So they've been really good. And it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. I know that many of the authors in the group, I can see some of the comments coming through, which we'll go over later. But we have a lot of our authors watching right now, and I know that they really appreciate you sharing your journey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you often don't hear that side unless you're really, really in the book world and you're listening to different interviews and stuff like that. So I know that, people are very appreciative. So thank you.
Oh, sure.
So I love You Be Mommy because it reminds me of my house.
I bet.
You said the girl, the woman, the mom, she was
chubby. You almost look like the little girl with your little hair up. Yeah. It looks like Quinn.
I love it. I didn't want to say it myself, so
yeah, you do.
Oh gosh. So, especially like in these times and, before as well, but moms and work and home life are like running together. Like they never stop with so many people working from home and the kids are home. So a book like this is Amber agrees with me. Thanks, Amber. So, our lives, like they never stop. The boundaries are getting lost and things like that. Right. So this book is so perfect, like as a reminder, to yourself, like as a mom, how much you really take on, what, your responsibilities day to day. And at the end of the night, I love in the book how, mom's so tired and she's like, You Be Mommy. And they get in bed together. And even after the little girl goes to sleep, it seems like mom keeps going.
Well, you know what, Quinn? This book came out March 31st.
Okay.
So it was right at the start of the pandemic.
Yes.
And so if you remember, schools were closed. Mm-hmm. Moms were just starting and dads to do the remote schooling. And so moms were just going crazy. Mm-hmm. And so this really did speak to a lot of moms out there who were just so exhausted, and yet no matter what, they keep doing it every day for those little kids. And I think it helps children to know that how busy a mom is and how much, how much she does for her child, and how much, all the ways that she loves her. Because sometimes kids, they're egocentric, and they just think, well, that's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be doing all this for me. I remember once I was reprimanding my son about something, and I said, it's not always 100% about you. And he goes, of course it is. And I'm like, that's a pretty honest answer.
Yeah.
But they think that, of course. And so this was just kind of a fun way to do that little role reversal and to see, help your child to see kind of what it's like. And even though you're busy and even though you're exhausted, of course, you love them so much. So, yeah.
Yes. So you're an artist as well. I know that you said you didn't have much control over the illustrator, but how did that influence when they did ask you questions? How did it influence the questions you asked and the direction you guys took with the book as an artist?
Yeah, I was just so lucky with that. I fell in love with this artist from the very beginning. There were a few pages, when I think of it in my head, it was totally different because, of course, I'm thinking of myself, my own son, and I'm thinking of, I originally thought the whole story would take place in the child's bedroom because that's kind of what happened with me, reading the books, but that wouldn't really work in a storybook. You have to have a little change of scenery and some action. And so she was genius in how she laid it out. But there were a couple of things that didn't work, and so then I was able to request, changing something here and there. I think there was a scene where the mom, her eyes were closed, and they probably should have been open, or something like that. But they worked with me to get it just right, so that was nice.
Okay.
Nice. And then in You Be Daddy, there were a couple things. I think I have a little boy riding a bike, and really the age is from 2 to 6 for these books. And he was riding a two-wheeler, and I thought, I think it maybe should still be a tricycle, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they're real open to, everybody wants the book to be perfect, so that's really,
yes.
Yeah. So,
That's good. Even like down to like the elements in the book and the illustrations. I really appreciated all the house plants.
yeah. And what's one of my favorite, well, a lot of people love the French Bulldog.
Okay.
That little white dog. And then this is my favorite though. And when she makes her daughter, get it.
There we go.
She makes her daughter ice cream sundaes with extra large scoops. And if you can look at the ice cream, I'm pretty sure it's mint chocolate chip, which is my favorite. And she didn't know that, but that was just.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, a lot of detail. I can't remember the word now. Shoot, I should have remembered that. But there's a word. Oh, and it's something like interactive reading, but it's just, when you read a story to your child, sometimes you just read the story, and that's fine. And then maybe on the second or third or fourth or fifth time, then you read the story and you start pointing things out. And, doesn't this bed look comfy? Or would you like to sleep in a big bed like this? Or, do you like it when you get ice cream? You kind of talk through the book too. And then the other reason I like rhyming books is for my own children. I often liked to read them the book, and then once they know it a little better, I would leave out that last rhyming word, and of course it rhymes, so they would get it. So I would say, helped with homework, even math, fed the dog, and gave him and they would finish. And so it would help them to look at that word and to know what that word was. And so they felt that they were reading, early on too.
Yeah.
So that's always a good way to get your child involved. And nothing beats either being cuddled in bed with them or sitting on your lap. As you know, it's just a bond that is so important.
Yeah. It's an ultimate bonding experience. And what you said about, reading a book over and over again is like one of the great tools of the read aloud experience, so that's great. And this is definitely a book that can be read over and over again. You know,
I
and
hope so. And it's not too long. You know,
yeah.
I love, there's some of my favorite books, but they're too long.
Mhm.
And the other thing I remember is, you know, there were books my kids liked that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And so I would hide them sometimes because it's got to be enjoyable for both the parent and the child. I was like, you can read that book later. You know, because you got to enjoy, the parent has to enjoy the book too.
Yeah. There's some books that Aiden picks and I just don't get it. And he's like laughing and cracking up the whole time. Like, can you read this to yourself? Because I don't have it in me
And
tonight.
boys are different sometimes. Yeah, with what they like.
Yes,
Yeah,
to read
it's
this
so
one.
true.
Gosh. Okay, so what message did you intend for parents to take away from this book? I think it's pretty clear though. Yeah.
Yeah, just to appreciate your mom. And that's usually what I write when I autograph the books. I put, be good to your mommy. And I think that's it. Help just appreciate your mom and all she does for you. And you guys, how children have that special bond. And yeah, you're right. Pretty simple message there. It's funny. When I wrote You Be Daddy, it was interesting how the mommy was doing all the work, the laundry, and then the daddy seemed to be tired because he was doing a lot of playing. So it was interesting that subconsciously, I'm like, why is that?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, he did work too. He mowed the lawn. I tried not to be so gender specific with their roles,
Yeah.
Because I had the mommy working at a computer store. I wanted her to be kind of a techie person. And then the dad is a nurse. And,
Okay.
So we kind of want to. And then there's a kitty cat in You Be Daddy because we want to give the cats attention too, not just the dogs. And then for You Be Grandma, she's a real hip grandma. She's not an old wretched grandma. She's a real hip lady. So I think that story will be set for You Be Mommy and You Be Daddy are kind of more suburban areas. I think You Be Grandma will be more like an urban area. And then I'm thinking You Be Grandpa could maybe be on a farm. We're not sure quite of the setting yet, but
Okay.
just to kind of be inclusive of lots of different children and settings. I should mention I have another book coming out with a different publisher. That's Penguin, and that one will come out August 24th this year, and it's called 3 Ways to Be Brave. And and this little book came also from an idea from my son, and it was he had just got his big boy bed, and so I can't remember how old he was then, between 2 and 3, I guess, something like that. And we just put him in the big boy bed, and of course a thunderstorm comes. So we knew he'd be coming in, and I'll never forget. We heard the little tiptoes, and he climbs in the bed, and he goes, "Safe at last." So I wrote a little story called "Safe at Last" about a little boy in a thunderstorm, and the editor at Penguin liked it, but she said, "I need more. So would you be willing to write 3 stories about being brave?" So the first story is about being brave in a thunderstorm. The second story is about being brave at the first day of preschool. And the third story is about being brave when you're getting a vaccination. The child's getting an injection. So, yeah. So that one comes out in August. It's real different from the UB series. And they hired a really interesting artist, a gentleman from Sweden. And his art is very different. It's kind of subdued, kind of sophisticated, but interesting. So, yeah. So that'll be fun too. So 2021 is going to be very busy.
Yeah, you have a lot going on. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
That's awesome. So what have been some of the best reviews or responses you've gotten from You Be Mommy?
Yeah. In preparation for this, I looked at Amazon, and there was a lot of good ones on Amazon, but there were really a couple good ones on Goodreads. So let's see. There was one I liked. A cute rhyming goodnight story about a very tired mommy. The mommy playfully asks if her little girl will play mommy tonight. Every tired parent, that's all of us, right, will identify with its exhausted mom and her laundry list of completed tasks. Kids will delight in the game and maybe even want to play themselves. The vibrant pictures and adorably illustrated characters add delight and charm to an already sweet book. So lots of nice reviews like that, and lots of nice reviews about feeling represented. So that's nice too. For example,
yes,
this one mom says, the illustration is lush and vibrant with color. The family's home has a fantastic visual theme of growing plants and cozy textures. One thing I loved especially was that the supermom was depicted as a more average-sized, curvy woman. Moms in picture books are not often shown as anything other than skinny or hourglass shaped.
yeah.
In addition to being a woman of color, it's a nice bit of representation for supermoms. The length was perfect, and JJ and I really enjoyed it. So that's nice.
Beautiful.
I love to hear from readers and their moms. And, yeah. So, yeah.
So I have to ask, we're almost at the end, but I just have this question. So, grandma, because there's so many different titles for grandmother, grandma, mom. Did the publisher did you guys have to make a decision what the title of the book, or was it
yes, because that's a really good question. Because me being Italian, I wrote it at UB Nana. That's
okay.
UB Nana, and they said, "Oh, we love that, but we have to be more universal."
Okay.
So yeah, because you're right, people call their grandma so many different things. So
they do.
Yeah, it would be cool if you could just change it on each book and have several of them. Yeah,
we have so many different just in our family alone. I mean, my mom, she's on watching. She's my mom. It's different.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else? Let me show you guys real quick just how you can get in contact with Karla, find out more about her books. I think I'll put the link to the book on the description. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Karla?
Oh, I think I talked a lot. I usually don't like talking about myself so much, but that's what we got to do, right?
Yes. So what you got to do?
Yeah, go to my website. Be happy to have you stop by there. You can even look at some of my artwork and some of the other books if you like. So, yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Somebody told me I was wrong. It's 30 degrees in Texas, not 60.
Okay.
I thought.
Well, still, I'll still wrong. It'll feel like 60 to me.
The illustrations are beautiful from quite a number of people. People are excited about UB Daddy. Amber says, "Congratulations, Karla, you're an inspiration."
Thank you.
Somebody else agreed that the book was illustrated after me, so that's always good.
Yes. Yes, you must have known you.
Yes, people are just really excited about your book. And guys, we saw the illustrations, we heard a few of the words, but just it's such a great flow. The story is so cute. Her use of words and rhyme in the story really, really make it just a great read aloud book with your kids. It's so sweet. Books like this help to build compassion in our kids, empathy, and really, just see the world from their parents' eyes, as we know. So thank you so much, Karla.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. If nobody has any other questions, we will wrap up. And thank you so much for being here.
All right. God bless you all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.